Hello, flat earthers, and everybody else out there. This morning I went to a town called Aberdour, which is located over here, and I took some pictures which I think some of you might be interested in. Um, so let me show you exactly where I went. Um, Aberdour is a small coastal town, Firth of Forth, and there's a rocky promontory here with some cliffs, and if we scroll in to this particular little promontory here, this is the spot that I went to. There is here a tower which you can see in this picture here. There's another one further back here. It was this one that I actually went to and looked at, and looked from here across the Firth of Forth, and you can see here the hill that I was particularly interested in, and this is an island called Inchkeith, which is nearby, well, near to Aberdour. In the hill here is called Berwick Law, and is about 36 kilometers away. So scrolling out again, we can see the location of Berwick Law, the hill that I was talking about, which is here on the opposite coast, on the East Lothian coast of the Firth of Forth. And Berwick Law, as you can see from these images, is quite a distinctive shape, and it is surrounded by very flat countryside, as you saw in the previous image from Aberdour. So it stands out quite distinctively. There's another visible island here, which is called the Bass Rock, which is an old volcanic plug and a seabird colony. And so in some of the pictures that I'll show you shortly, you'll see the Bass Rock, you'll see Berwick Law, you'll see some hills, or very low hills here. It's mostly flat farmland here. You'll see the island of Inchkeith, and you'll see this view across here, which is, as I said before, it's around about 35 kilometers, something like that. Okay. So this is the first picture I took, just of this tower that is on the promontory, so that you can see the location that I actually was taking photographs from, just to confirm that particular location near Aberdour. And if we look at this next picture, which was taken from close to that tower, you can see the rocky promontory that I'm talking about, and you can get a feeling for the height above sea level, which is around about 20 meters or so. If we scroll in to this image, you can see there's an oil rig here, parked just off the coast of Burnt Island, Kirkcaldy. This is the island of Inchkeith that I referred to, and here in the distance is Berwick Law, and here is the Bass Rock. And if we scroll in even further, you can see the hill of Berwick Law. You can see the land next to it on either side. This little bump here will become important later on, I think. And you can see the sea, which is a fairly sharp horizon line which comes along here. Bass Rock sitting on that horizon line and continuing along here underneath Berwick Law and the land that's above it. I'm not entirely certain whether you can see from here all the way to the shore along the northeast Lothian coast. It might be possible. There are things that look like they could be beaches, but I'd need a better camera. I only have my phone with me this morning, so the image quality is not fantastic. I might go back and redo these images a little better one day. So that's the shot of Berwick Law, and here is a cropped version from that same image showing Berwick Law and the land and the sea estuary in front. So having done that, I clambered down the rocks and over the seaweed. I think that the total height drop is about 20 meters. We can check that later, but it's not a huge height down to the shoreline. And when I got down to the sea, I held my camera probably about 9 inches to 12 inches above the sea level, and took this second image. And again, you can see Berwick Law Hill, the top of it anyway, or part of it here. The other piece of hilltop or slightly raised land that I spoke about is also visible over here. But in between, there is no land visible at all. The horizon line here runs all the way along. It's quite a misty sort of morning, so not terribly clear horizon line, but clearly the land in between Berwick Law and this point here is now no longer visible. It is obscured by the water, by the curve of the earth. So just to show you the full image, the previous image was shown as just a cropped area showing Berwick Law. This is the full image from sea level. You can see the seaweed right in front of the camera lens there, and the rocks, and it gives you an impression of exactly what the full image actually looked like. So the question for the Flat Earth community is, where did the East Lothian coast go? This cannot be anything to do with perspective, nor can it be due to some strange atmospheric blocking phenomenon. Simple explanation is that the land is no longer visible because from sea level the curve of the earth gets in the way. Move up some 15 to 20 meters and the line of sight to the land is restored and it can be clearly seen. I will try to get better images of this and other locations along the Fife Coast, but I'd really like Flat Earth believers to give me their explanation for my observation. We're often asked to trust our own observations. Well, here's one I've made, and I'd like to know what you think it shows. I think it shows that the Earth is curved.